A background in molecular biology. If I have to go back to my bachelor, actually I have a degree in food science and technology, and then I did a master's degree that was focused on a bit of microbiology and was maybe initiating the path to molecular biology. And I have had a PhD degree from biotech at the Department of Biotechnology. That is the university in town, the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. And then I had a researcher career, and it built up. So currently I happen to be an academic at the university here as well. So this is currently I'm operating in intersection of three different fields, so biophysics, computational, and synthetic biology. And the SynBee, because we have a recent startup from our group that is called Syngens. And I don't remember exactly how we joined. I think that, yes, I have met an individual at iGEM because I'm also in the iGEM judging committee. And there I met a colleague of yours, and I came aware of SynBee, and then I applied to the SynBee program for the pitch event. Yeah, and then we were in Brussels, and then we were set among the winners. And then that's how I've been engaged with SynBee since then. So we are a DNA design company. We are operating at the intersection of artificial intelligence and synthetic biology. One of the aim was, I mean, as I said, I'm an academic at the university here. We are struggling with this trial and error approaches. This is the main, this is the way the biology operates in a way. You know, we don't have predictability. We don't have the real design. We mostly treat DNA, the design at the DNA stage of when you decide what the composition of DNA should look like for any product in mind. It's a kind of, trial and error based with a level of Lego mentality. So you have these building blocks and you put them together, but then you cross fingers. And it doesn't go more than that. So, and they have been struggling on that one, and we wanted to have some approaches. And then I have met my co-founder back in 2016. And the first initiative was a kind of friendly chat. But in 2018, we started to do development of the things that we have. What we have at the Syngen is actually the DNA design platform. So these are based on generic AI. We use transformer models. So it's analog to ChatGPT, you might think. But of course, instead of training on human text, we train these models on biological data. And then, of course, instead of generating human text, it generates DNA sequences with predictability. So that's practically what the company does. And then when we, if you think about academics, we do, our currency is practically our publications. And with those publications, we, apply for grants, and that's how we carry out research. What I have realized that, I am mostly, if you consider myself as a consumer, I am only on the consuming side. So when it comes to contribution to science, yes, we do. But what I realized that throughout this process, it doesn't apply to me only, it applies to practically all academics. If you want the benefit of the tools and the approaches that you develop, you are the best one to pursue, because otherwise, you're putting a publication or maybe having a patent application, if that's come to that. And then there is no active, then you're becoming a passive, right? You're expecting that somebody else from the field, a company who's going to take it up and then will pursue. But it doesn't happen like that. The dynamics are totally different. So it's a kind of bit of a naive thinking, I guess, from an academic perspective. And once I realized that, then I wanted to pursue the startup. And of course, given that the things that we have developed, this platform has been functional, theoretically things that we design, they also work in the living organisms. And once we see the potential, we thought that that was not just worth enough to put it out as a publication, but rather we wanted to pursue in the startup, and hence the motivation. It was, of course, it's good to be exposed to, the European Innovation Commission and all the attendees. So in terms of network building, that was really valuable. We also got the award. So we have the 2 awards. One is an advisory help, I think, if we need it for any concerning regulations, patents, from a law firm, if I'm not wrong. And 2, we currently operate in the bacterial domain. We are moving into yeasts, and if we need to do some modifications in yeast, we could also use the CRISPR-Cas system, and there we also got a license. So that was valuable, like concrete hands-on things. Besides that, during that period, we also got quite a bit of exposure via LinkedIn, I imagine, because we are currently raising, and that was nice to communicate with different investors, and they have seen us as well. So in terms of exposure, was nice. And we also led to that one of the EIC commissioners were also sitting among the audience. That was Barbara. And now I have been invited to serve as expert reviewer for one of their programs. So that was concrete. But besides that, nothing else happened for Syngens. I mean, so we didn't have had anything beyond these concrete things. Yeah, as I said, I mean, if they are like, I mean, it's difficult, different, you know, it depends on where they start. But if we were to consider academics, for instance, and early startups, it's an exciting domain to be in because we believe in the potential, and I believe it also the synthetic biology has the potential, right? So if you look at the, you know, predictions, what's being said that biology has the potential to be the manufacturing technology of the future, right? So you might say biotechnology has immense potential, both in terms of shifting the current oil-based productions to bio-based platform, but also at the same time realizing, you know, targeting products or a harmony with nature in the ways that we can envision today. And obviously, biology is going to be playing much more role in that, you know, in future, and we are the ones who can deliver those tomorrow's technologies. I mean, it's a standard saying, you know, you can't address tomorrow's challenges with today's technology. So we need to have this technological development. It doesn't mean that everything has a technological solution, so I don't mean by that any means. But nevertheless, there is a lot of big potential, and the only way that we can realize these are people like us not being passive on the generation of knowledge, but also on the playing an active role in applying or generating these tomorrow's technologies and solutions. And hence the only way you can do it is being active. You know, having a startup, having an idea, commercialization is not always the monetary benefits. I mean, that's obviously its consequences. You know, we need to pay bills, so that has to be in place. But it's more on believing the technology and believing the solutions that you can generate. And that's kind of motivates me. But that being said, this is not an easy journey, right? So people ask how easy or difficult it is tough. So there is nothing, this is not a, you know, it's not a strolling in the park. So this is, it requires quite a bit of focus. And if I were to recommend a few things, I would say don't be alone. You know, have a colleague at least. So be at least 2. Trust each other is like a marriage. So, you know, if you finding co-founders, if you're not clear on the terms, don't start. I don't know, I can go on.